So I was like, let me get off for a little bit just to, come back to self. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the stuff that you read, the stuff people send you, the
Mm.
response is just, wow,
Is it a drug from like the positive, the negative, or just one whole thing?
I think I'll say for me personally, I've been doing this for a while. So,
Mhm.
you know, um, you have support, but it doesn't always feel like that. You don't always
Mhm.
feel like you have support because, people need something to support. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I support you, but it's just like, what have you done? What are you doing? And it's just like, in the world of, for example, auditioning, where it's like you're interviewing for every job,
Mhm.
so it's just like it could be a long time before you book something. And then even if you do book something, it could be a while to really keep that momentum going.
Mhm.
So it's like, remembering why you're doing it. Um, that's really what's, I think, kept me in it, because it's not about me, so
I
making it
see you
about,
trying. I see you being humble, being modest, being grateful
mm-hmm,
for your position and opportunities and things like that.
yes.
Before we get too deep, let me make the introduction because we
Oh,
kind of
for
just
sure.
got right into it.
Yeah,
That was a good intro. How you started off with your wisdom, so that was really really dope.
sure.
What's going on, guys? I'm NaShaye J, and get tuned into a special YE interview. I have here with me Xavier J Watson, who
What's
is the
up?
newest face on Twenties. It's a comedy series on BET by Lena Waithe. How you doing again?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Good, 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 good. So tell us about the show Twenties and what it means to you. Like, what's the similarities to you with that show?
Well, 20s. It's a really good show. I actually didn't know about it really until I got the audition for Chance. But just watching season one, I'm like, oh yeah, because it's about um, Hattie, the lead of the show, who's trying to make it as a writer, and she's doing everything she can, sleeping on people's couches,
Mm-hmm.
doing what you have to do to survive, and she's able to get an opportunity with a very prominent black writer and producer. So all of season one is about her and her friends really trying to survive in LA while also pursuing their dreams. And then we get to season two, it feels like everyone's kind of stepped up a little bit. Like everybody
Yeah.
knows what they're doing, they're in it.
Mm-hmm.
Nia is doing her yoga thing, plus she's on a show now. Hattie, she's finally a writer, she's got a script done, and she's working with her idol.
Mm-hmm.
And Marie, she works at a production company, and she's on a good path too. So it looks like season two is about now that you're getting some success,
Mm.
where is do you know where you're going, and is the path that you're going on, is that gonna change anything around you, even yourself? So there's a lot of
Real life.
there's been a lot of reveals. Yeah.
This sounds like real life though. Like you were just
Hmm.
saying, like when you get your success, you kind of have to maintain it, and you kind of
Yes.
have to keep your focus. So it
Hmm.
sounds like real life. I do want to mention one of the what catches me really really deep because it's all relatable. It's all relatable. It's when she walked out of Ida B's house excited. It was on
Hmm.
first season, and
Hmm.
she walked out. She was excited, and then I'm like I'm over here pumped for her, and she in the car. Her car won't start. That was so
Oh
real to
yeah.
me. Like, yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
that was like a real moment. So when you have great things going on in your life and then you come to an obstacle, how do you kind of maneuver around it or, just not let it knock you off track?
Oh, remembering what you've done in the past, what you've been through in the past. Um, One of the things that I did to stay afloat as an actor, I was a Lyft driver for a little bit, and it was just always a great opportunity to talk to people. And I picked up a guy I was taking to the airport. He was in a rush, but we were able to have a really good conversation. He was running a business, and he was finding that he had to do everything himself. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get people on my team. And then I hire them, and then they realize they can't do it. So it's just back to me doing it again. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, if you don't mind me asking, you know, how do you keep going when it feels like you've got the right team or everything seems to be going right, and then it's like, oh no, that's not it yet. And he said, man, to be honest with you, I go back in my life and remember other moments where I didn't think I was going to make it, or I didn't know what I was going to do. And I did. I did make it. I did make the right decision. So it's sort of like you build your own courage by remembering the courageous things you did. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's good that, you know, we can always be inspired by other people, you know, but if you can be inspired by yourself, you know,
Yeah.
the things that you've done, you know, that's powerful. And that's how you become, you know, if you choose to go that route, an influencer, you know.
Yeah, I'll be sure to take that advice with me. That was pretty
Absolutely.
powerful. Yeah. So you
Yes.
say you waited 15 years for. I
It's
mean,
been
you've
a
been
while.
doing it. You've been auditioning and things like that. But is this like your big break? Would you consider this your big break?
I wouldn't consider this my big break, but it is a breakthrough for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's, you can feel it. Like, you know, it is energy. You really can feel the momentum. You know, I felt it. You know, this was the best year. 2021 was the best year I've had ever as an actor since doing this. You know, started the year with a booking, and then it just kept going. You know,
Yeah.
so I was just like, okay. But you know, on one hand, it could be like, yes, 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 I did it, I did it, I did it. Yes, but also too, it's just like, remember how. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Remember how you got here. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Remember now why it is that you're booking. It's because you continued to work. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you continued to train. It's
Yeah.
because you continued to stay humble and focus and all that stuff.
100%.
So, you know, it's I mean, really, I mean, you know, you can go as high as you want to go, you know, but it's like, you know, nobody can force you, nobody can push you. They can say, they can like, hey, I know somebody, but it's all up to you, you know. And
Okay.
you know, yeah.
So with your auditions, you said that you got a lot of no's. We all go through rejection. We all
Hmm.
get the turn down. How did you use those no's to propel you to where you are? Like, what type of criticism did you take out of those no's from the auditions that you really wanted to get to where you are today? Because
That's
obviously
what.
you didn't
Oh,
stop. You kept going. So you took
oh
some kind
yeah.
of criticism
Well,
out of it.
I
What?
mean, it's. I mean, the nose. Oh, let me stay on camera here. The nose. You know, a lot of the times, I mean, they're very impersonal. You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, you audition and then it's just like an interview. But I mean, at least usually with an interview, they'll let you know that you didn't get it. It's just like we're moving on,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it's not always like that with auditions. You know, you audition and then if the shoot date comes up and you weren't called, then yeah, it wasn't you. You know, but that's why I think it's so important to until you feel like you really understand the process to stay in class to train because you don't necessarily get feedback from the casting director. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a job to do. They have a lot of people to see to try to cast this thing as quickly as possible. So they don't always have time to give feedback, which is why they say you should be in class. So you can audition on camera in front of a teacher and they could be like, oh, okay, this is what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. You know, but I mean, I think it's also just like interviews as well. Like sometimes you just know when you meet the person or when you see the job, you're like, oh, that's the one. So then in those moments, it's just about not freaking yourself out too much and just, you know, it's like, I got this, you know. And then the rest of it is just being open and vulnerable, you know, sort of like a scene. You know, I don't know necessarily what the other person is going to do. We have a script, you know, but what the audience is always looking for is behavior. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking for somebody to just read lines back to each other. They want to see behavior. How did that affect you? What does that mean to you? So the deeper you do that work, the better you perform.
Yeah, you sound like you know exactly what you're talking about. You sound like
I'm
you know
trying to
exactly what you're talking
simplify it, you know, because a lot of people ask me, you know, how do you do this? How do you memorize lines and then forget them? And
about.
how do you, you know, you're you, but also the character? How do you switch between the two? So
Right.
I try to keep it as simple as I can when I'm explaining it.
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you brought that up because that would be my next question. Because actors have to actually embrace the character, like actually
Mm-hmm.
become that person. How do you balance out like your the real you and your character? How do you not get lost in your character? Like take your character home or
Uh-huh.
your character in front of a family member or something like that. How do you differentiate?
Well, my process is quite intuitive, so I've learned many of the techniques, but it's sort of like Bruce Lee. Eventually you have to become like water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like, the role itself dictates what you need to do. So, I mean, it depends on the role, you know. I think Will Smith for can you hear the guys mowing the lawn out there? Okay, cool. So, but like I think Will Smith said, he for that movie I Am Legend, it was really just him and his dog. But
Mhm.
I mean, you know, you got to get yourself into a place where it's real for you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's the first person you have to convince is yourself.
Mhm.
And if you're convinced, the audience will buy it.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean? But it really depends on the role. But you know, take care of yourself. I mean, I think since the industry has started changing since 2020 with everything that's happened,
Mhm.
like there's been a lot more focus on the mental health of the actors. You know, like even on set when we filmed this episode, we had intimacy coordinators on set, in case any one of us started freaking out about what we had to do in the scene, because you never know what can happen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Everything might have been cool in rehearsal. And then once you get the cameras there and the crew and the producers are
Mhm.
there and the network is watching, you're like, oh, I need a
It's a different
minute.
vibe. It's a different.
So, yeah. So it's really, making sure that you have a stable foundation of support for yourself,
Right. Right. Right.
whether that's meditation, just taking a minute to breathe,
Mhm.
it's very important to just do that anyway. And then, having good support, around you to help, because personally, I need a lot of space to
Mhm.
create, just a lot of silent time. I need time with myself,
Yeah.
to let the role speak to me. That's how I do it.
I
And
love
then,
that you're speaking on self. That's a
yeah.
really big thing because although we have resources around us and we have help from the Most High, it's still
Hmm.
really a self thing. Like
Yeah.
nobody can make you do a thing. You really have to make a decision. So it's really
Hmm.
great to hear you talking about self. It's very humbling as well because just talking to you, the vibe, the energy, I see why your time is now. I
Oh,
see,
thank you.
like, although you've been grinding, but I see why you're shining now because you kept going and you're very, very
Hmm.
humble. So let me ask you
Thank
one
you.
of the most asked questions that a lot of successful people get is, how did you get the opportunity? Although we know that you didn't stop, you kept going. That's the
Hmm.
only way to get something is to keep going. How did you get this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, this came just like any other regular audition. But when I saw BET and 20s and guest star, I was like,
Mhm.
yep.
Did you pray on
um,
it? Did you meditate or
I
anything?
mean, I talked about process earlier. I mean, like you go out for your co-stars first. You got to book co-stars or what people in the industry call your under five lines. So you have your one line, two line, or three line, whatever. Hi, man, take your coffee. What's your order? You start usually with those, and you
Okay,
got to
okay.
work your way up to like
Mhm.
guest star or a recurring or a series regular. Like I'm not saying it's impossible for a new actor to come in and get a series regular. That's kind of what JoJo did for as Hattie.
Mhm.
She had one audition for Lena, and Lena was like, "Yep." So it can happen, but she
Yeah.
was ready. She was
Mhm.
ready for it. But for this one, when I saw it, it was 8 pages, and I said yes to it before I'd even read it. And then when I saw the scene, I was like, oh. And my mind was sort of freaking out for like a good 10 to 15 seconds because I knew it was more than just you know intimacy with another guy on screen. This was you know representing a community.
And you did. Oh my God, thank you. It was like,
Oh, thank you.
oh my God, it was amazing. Like I felt the connection between the characters. Like it was amazing. You did an amazing job.
Oh,
But
thank you.
continue on.
Oh no, basically, yeah. So I mean, I prepped it. I think I got the audition on a Thursday, and it was due Monday. So I prepped it all weekend. Like that's literally all I did. I called a friend of mine over, who's a member of the community, and we talked about it. And he was like, "Bro, you got this," you know. And yeah, I taped it. I think Sunday, and you just wait, you know. And then you get the email saying, "Hey, you're pinned," you know.
Yeah.
And then you just wait again. And then, you know, when you get the call that you booked it, you know, it's just like, I knew it because I felt I had to be, I used that time to get ready. You know what I mean? Because I think that's probably the thing that freaked me out for that 10 or 15 seconds. Is just like, yo, once people see you this way, you know what I mean? That is, you know, people will see you that way. So it's just like, you know, I have no problem with being seen that way because I'm an actor. I'm a professional. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing. I've been training for this. And that's what really struck me with the feedback was that, you know, there wasn't like, you know, really a whole bunch of like thirsty DMs, you know? It was a lot of respect. It was just like, yo, man, thank you so much. This show really needed your energy today, or just the intimacy, the, you know, it's just like, thank you. Like, bro, this was me. Like, I, you know, all that, you know, to take in. So I was like, ooh, my heart, you know, and that to me is the job well done, you know, because booking the job, you did your work. You know, because the work is the audition, really. You know, once you've booked it, then it's just, all right, if the director has anything to say, it's a little critique, little change. But for the most part, you've already done the work, you know. So then at that point, it's just trusting that you are good enough because you booked it. And
what
trusting.
Chance be back to the show?
When I got it, he was a guest star. But I mean, so a lot of people have asked.
It's looking like he gonna be back.
I mean, the way he left, you know what I mean? I mean, it was open. Like there wasn't necessarily a goodbye.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the direction of that scene, we had a really great director. Because when I was playing it before, more as in, okay, this is he's walking away from me. This is it. This is the end. And the director was like, no, this is respect, bro. You respect his decision. And I'm like, immediately I knew exactly what he meant, and what you saw was what we did. You know.
Amazing.
Thank
Now
you.
let me ask you a question. Where are you from?
I was born in Georgia. Like it's always a tough question for me to answer because I'm a military kid. But I tell people I lived in 5 different states before I was 17. So but the hub is New Orleans. That's where all the family is from. But I was born in Georgia. I started acting in Georgia.
Okay.
And then, you know, eventually found my way out here to California.
Let me shout out your mom again. I have
Absolutely.
definitely shout out. I actually met her here in Birmingham. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I met her at an album release party, and she was just. I met DJ Cam Bam, your sister.
My sister, yeah.
So, oh my God, I actually interviewed Cam Bam, and your mom was like, she just kind of like attached to him. She's like, I like you. I like your vibe. Take my number.
Yes.
Okay. She's like, I'm gonna keep you updated. My son, ... This was like 2 months ago. And she's like, I'm gonna keep you updated. And I guarantee you, Wednesday, she texts me. It's like, hey, boom, 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 boom. That's kind of how this came up in action. So shout out to your mom.
Shout out to moms.
She's so dope.
She's
amazing. Supporter of you, and I'm just so grateful for the connection.
Oh, me too. I've told her that many times. I'm like, Mom, you don't understand how difficult it is. It's the feeling of taking on the industry to make it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah. I mean, if you don't give up, you'll find a way. You know what I mean? So some kind of way, or the way will come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Both
So
you
yeah,
find
I
and
think
it'll
both
come.
happened for me. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, like, I've told my mom over and over and over again, like, like, Mom, just thank you, because when I was in school studying acting, when I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for 3 years, and many of the students came from other countries,
Hmm.
and you're talking about survival and necessity.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You're talking about, like, I can't go back home because there's nothing for me there, so I have to succeed here in
Hmm.
Hollywood. So those were the people that I hung around in college. Those who had everything to lose.
Hmm.
And I'm talking, like, I went to a conservatory. I'm not talking 4-year college where, like, you got your different classes. It's just like, no, this was conservatory. Like, you were in class like 8 to 10 hours a day. And then after that, you had stuff to memorize, you had stuff to do. So to see people who also had to work
Hmm.
to pay tuition and do what we did, like that, I was looking at. I'm like, that's the work ethic that I feel it takes to succeed. Like Denzel Washington, he did an interview once where he was being asked about the Oscars that he won or should have won. And, you know, they were talking about Training Day. And he was like, well, he won for Training Day, but he was like, Training Day was easy. You know what I mean? That was the
Wow.
easy part. But he said if you can do that on Monday and then Julius Caesar on Tuesday, then you're acting. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I took that to heart and I was like, yes, I think to be the best actor you can be, you should be able to play any and every character that comes across your sight.
Hmm.
Even if whether you book it or not, it's just the courage in trying it, you know what I mean? And being like, I can do this. Like, I didn't think I was going to book Chance because I'm going to be real with you now. I mean, with the way things in the industry are going, representation, it's
Hmm.
just like if the character is gay, you would think that people want the actor to be gay too. That's what
Hmm.
people are saying. But it's just like, this is one of those situations where I'm grateful for my training and study because it's about the performance. You know what I mean? It should be about the person who was best suited for the role, but it can get political,
Right.
but it just lined up this way. And that's what I'm saying. I knew it was about representing the community, you
Hmm.
know, it's not about what I identify as or anything. Like, I'm an actor. That's not about me. It's about the
Exactly.
character,
Hmm.
so I feel that that's what's going to take me all
Yeah.
the way.
You're so humble. I love it. I love it
Thank you.
so much. That's gonna take you further. It's
Yep.
gonna take you a lot further. Your humbleness. So, what do you have your eyes on? Who are you wanting to work with? We're just gonna put that out there. If they see this interview, who are you looking
Oh,
to work with or wanting to work with?
oh
Cause you're on your
man.
way. You're on your way. You already hit BT. You're on your way.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. You know what I mean? Oh wow. I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold
Are you
on. I think.
fine?
Hold on. I don't know if the power went out or something. I'm like, oh man, this is so not professional.
It's fine.
Is that cool?
It's real things happening. It's what it is.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, the main thing on my mind right now, I wrote a script, that trying to find a director for. It's called Psych. You talk about necessity. Like, there was a period where I didn't think I was going to make it,
Mhm.
so I was just like, I can't give up. I've been in this too long,
Mm,
because I'm like, giving up to me would be betrayal of the self.
mm.
So
That's
I'm
deep.
like, Mamba mentality. You know what I mean? It's like, there's got to be something else. And it kind of just came in, not just words. And I'm like, oh, this is a script. And I
Mm.
had the book staring right at me, How to Write a Movie in 21 Days
So
by
it's
Vicky
done. So
King.
your script is done.
Yeah, the script's been done for like going on 4 years now. I've been trying
Oh.
to find a director, but I haven't studied directing, but I'm like, again, necessity.
Mhm.
That's the quote. Necessity is the mother of all creation. So it's like, you know, I wrote it for me to act in because I didn't see anything else. So I'm like, am I gonna have to direct this too?
Mm.
And I hope that a miracle is coming in with the 20s episode premiering when it did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh, this might be that bit of divine timing that I need,
Mm.
because to be honest with you, I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a long journey.
I get that. I get that. But
Yeah.
if you stop, you ain't gonna get nothing. We don't get nothing
Yeah,
if we
exactly.
stop.
I mean, it's so great. There's this prayer that I've been saying every day. Came across it in one of my emails, but I'm gonna paraphrase it. But it was basically like, basically says, God, you know, I'm no longer gonna live in my head.
Hmm.
I am going to relax.
Hmm.
I have done everything that I know to do.
Hmm.
And if there is anything else that I need to do, you will tell me.
Hmm.
But I cannot hear you if I'm not in a peaceful state of mind. So that is my new mission, to be in the state of peace.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I am.
That's
It's
amazing.
like not trying so hard, not thinking that I have to do more than I have to,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what everyone was saying about the performance. It was natural, it was effortless. I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of work
Mm-hmm.
that goes into making it look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at in my life, just resting.
A lot of it depending on your own understanding. That's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Mm-hmm.
giving it up. Like that's
Yeah,
the
giving
most
it
peaceful
up.
way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the most peaceful way. Because when we try to do things on our own, it go this way, it go
Yeah.
that way, and it feel good for a moment, but it doesn't give you that full fulfillment. Because it says
Right.
that God's blessings comes with no sorrow, no consequences.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
our own actions that comes with the sorrow and the
Or our
consequences.
own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
like what you thought success was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, time is a very powerful thing. It's like, I turned 28 the end of this year, end of this month. And it's just like, yeah, I know 30 is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like to think like that, but I'm like, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's motivation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. I like to tell people, it's just like, it's not enough just to be running from something. If you're running from something, you have to be running towards something too. Because if you're just running from something, that's fear.
Mm-hmm.
What are you running to? That's courage.
Right,
You know what I'm
right, right.
saying? So it's just like, it's all about that balance.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes you know, it's not always like joy peaceful that's going to get you through. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I'm going to have to, be savage today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not out of spite or anything, but it's just like, I wouldn't have gotten this far had I not stood up for myself and my talent.
Exactly.
So because it's very easy to feel like you're being brushed aside or not seen or not heard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very easy, especially in the way things are right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy for people to be indignant, or intolerant. And it's like, that's not gonna help anything. It doesn't solve anything. The only way to heal is to open up and be vulnerable, and
People are
accept
better
and
than being
allow.
right.
Yeah.
But
But if you really want to know like what my journey means, that's really it. It's just always knowing where I was going
mm-hmm.
and knowing who I was becoming.
Yeah.
You have to have that image, you have to have that vision,
Mm-hmm.
And my friends are starting to see it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're starting to say, "Oh, I see what you mean." And it's like, yes, like I didn't visualize Chance, but the type of character he is, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty close to me as a person. You know what I mean? He tell jokes and humorous, honest. Even if it hurts a little bit, but he knows how to because he's, talking to you.
That's kind of why I feel like it felt natural. Because
Mm-hmm.
although I don't know you personally, but vibes don't lie, energy don't lie. It just felt like it was you being. It felt like they just said be
Mm-hmm.
yourself, literally,
Right.
and it was
Yep.
so natural, so genuine. It was
Yes.
it was
Thank you.
amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
How does the success feels? Is it what you expected, or are you expecting more, or how does it feel? Even though you're still in your prime, but how does
Mm-hmm.
this moment feel?
Well, this moment is validation.
Mm-hmm.
It's validation and vindication.
Mm-hmm. I love
It's, because it's not a co-star, it's a guest star.
Mm-hmm.
And what's amazing is, when you feel it, when spirit comes in, but it's like, I told my agent, I was like, no more co-stars.
Mm-hmm.
I
After
want
this.
guests. Yeah. I said, I
Okay.
want more like 20s, more like Chance Bishop. I want guest star and above going into 2022. And
Mm-hmm.
that following Monday,
Mm-hmm.
she got me a series regular audition. So, you know, my mom, shout out again, you know, her motto for a while was flip the script.
Hmm.
You know, I could go a little deeper with you. I mean, we at 30 minutes now, and I can bring it to a
Let's get
close, but
it. I love
it's just
it.
like flip the script, right? Yeah, I said earlier about running from something and running towards something.
Mm-hmm.
There's fate, Fate,
Mm-hmm.
and faith, Faith.
Okay.
Okay, fate is, I'm gonna just let it, but you gave it no direction.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Faith, you gave it direction. You know what you want,
Mm-hmm.
so then you can let go. Like, that's the main thing. People do not decide truly what it is that they want and where they want to go,
Mm-hmm.
because the image kind of fills itself in if you
Mm-hmm.
allow yourself to take it in. You know,
That's true.
like if people really understood how simple it is, and say easy. This was a long journey, but when I break it down and see, okay, it started with a dream. It If it did change, it got bigger.
Right.
So that's it. I had a dream. It touched me here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
The heart. So I had the dream at 11, 12 years old. I had the support. My mom was like, "You want to go?" I was like, "Let's go." And we found a way. I mean, I've been homeless. You know what I'm saying? I went through it all. Like, many people wouldn't know, but like, that's what I think allows you to touch more people. When you've been through your own stuff, which brings us back to what I said earlier about how do you keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you remember in your own life what you've overcome. I mean, I wasn't in New Orleans when Katrina hit, but we lost our house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you lose everything, you know, like, you woke up the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you don't know why you woke up, you woke up. So that's powerful when you can recognize that you have the power to think your way through, out of, feel your way through or out of anything, as long as you know where you're going.
Exactly. I love that you separated the two. And you said
Yeah.
faith, no direction. Faith, direction.
Direction.
Big.
Yes, it's all direct.
That's
It's all
big.
directed. you know I mean, and what's the definition of faith in the Bible, right? It's, what is it, the
What we
substance of things hoped for. you
exactly.
have you have to have hope first. So, like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Hope is the substance. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really break it down, you can understand it, that
Mm-hmm.
faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's your hopes and dreams that's carrying you. If you
Mm.
don't have any, then you'll just be waking up every day. Who knows?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, yeah. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I say to the fans out there.
One of the great that's a great book. It really is.
And
I
the
have
other
read
one,
that book multiple times.
yes, Outwitting the Devil is the other one.
What is it?
Outwitting the Devil by
Got you.
Napoleon Hill.
Got you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he
check that
talks
one out.
about fear. That book right there can cure you of any fear that you have, because he tells you what it is.
Hmm. I'm
Hmm.
surprised I haven't read that one, but I've heard it though. But I'm
It's
surprised I haven't
good.
read
It's
it.
good.
Awesome, awesome. So, who are you? Who are you inspired by the most? Who is your biggest inspiration? You say so many.
My
Just
family,
give me two.
my
Give me
my
two.
my mom
Okay.
and my grandfather. I'll
Mm.
say my mom, soldier, single mom, not by choice.
Headstrong.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she made it happen. And the fact that she's raised not one, but two budding superstars by
Mm-hmm.
herself, and she served her time, went to Iraq, she did her thing for 29 years. So, mama's mama number one.
Okay.
And my second is my grandfather. He he's the one in our family who was the first entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Because he recognized his own worth, his own talent. You know, he was working for someone, and when he realized that not only could he do the job better than the boss, but that everybody would willingly work for my grandfather, he was like, okay. So he left and he opened his own company, you know, Henry Fulton Tile Company, and he's still working. He just turned 84 and he still gets calls, you know? So, you know, having that entrepreneurial spirit, you know, and the willingness to break out of what people thought you would be or what you even thought you would be, you know, he just had the esteem to go for it. And you know what I mean? So I'm like, well, look at what my grandfather did. Look at what my mama did. I know I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, look at your own family.
Yeah, even in the book Think and Grow Rich, it talks about getting the spirit of the great pioneers. So what you just said is in correlation.
Absolutely.
You have to get that spirit. Like it's like an actor. You have to embrace
Yeah.
it. You have to actually
Yes.
come.
Yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to talk about before we exit is I don't think people understand. I'm not going to say how hard it is because I don't think people understand the depths of being an actor, right?
Yeah.
Because what we see on the TV is what we see. We don't see the behind the scenes. We don't see the breakdowns. We don't see the cries, anything like that.
Right.
So what would you want people to? And they're gonna interpret it in their own way. But what would you want people to understand about being an actor that you, in your best way, in the best way possible? To be more understanding of you guys and your job.
Well, I like with anything, you can do it halfway or you could do it all the way.
I just love you. I've been
You know what I'm
inspired this whole
saying?
interview.
Thank you. But I mean, I could leave it there, but really it's like if you it's easy now to put the camera on yourself and post something and go viral. My thing is, what are you saying? You know, it's easy to post a video of you singing, but what are you singing? You know what I'm saying? What is it? It really is why should we listen to you? Why should we look at you?
Okay.
And the more you know yourself, the more people are attracted to you because you know who you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's very easy for an actor, especially in today's world, to make it all about the ego and look at what I'm in, look at what I'm doing, blah 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 blah. You know, you don't even have to post it. You can just post pictures of yourself, you know, wearing different clothes and get followers. So you can do that and you can become successful, right? That's just is what it is. But I went deeper than that. You know what I mean? I went to school. I studied. I trained. So was that something that was frustrating for a while? Yes. For a period of time, I didn't book anything, most likely because I didn't have enough followers. Didn't matter what my acting training or talent was. So we've surpassed that now, you know, but that was disheartening for a while. That, oh yeah, you can fake it and really make it now. I'm not fake. And I think the performance that you saw shows that. You know, I'm about authenticity and being real. And that's, I think, the biggest kind of joke of it all. I mean, Shakespeare, all the world's a stage.
This is true.
It's our job to play.
Yeah.
That's really it. It's all, the whole world is a stage. We're scene partners right now. You know what I mean? Literally just improvising. That's an interview. You know what I mean? What makes an interview great, you know, I can't wait to post this one, you know, is, you know, are you really interested in each other? You know, I think to be a really good actor, you have to be willing to open yourself up. You know, it's almost like being a yogi or a monk. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
deep. That's deep.
yeah, it's like the deeper you're willing to go within yourself and take care of what needs to be taken care of, you, without even speaking, will be a source of comfort for others. You know what I'm saying? You say you don't know me, but you feel the vibes.
Mhm.
Right. I got so many messages on Instagram after that.
Mhm.
They don't know me,
Mhm.
but you're talking to me now. Am I not like that character? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's just, I'm not, it was acting, but it was coming from a real place is
Mm.
the whole point that I'm making here, is that, like I said, you can do it, you can fake it, and you can make it. But I do think that if you're willing to, my mom's Aries, you know what I'm saying? I like to go. I was raised by Aries energy, go, 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 go.
Mhm.
But like, the setbacks, when you realize they weren't setbacks.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what you got to hold on to realize. Like, you don't, I tell people, don't break down before you get to your breakthrough.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on, please. Like, Michael Jackson said it best: music, put on music. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever that song is, whatever that mantra is that you need to keep going.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Or even if it's just starting your day with 10 minutes of silence, like, you have to start with yourself.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because that's where everything comes from. Like, I'm preaching now, but like, I'm understanding, it's all understanding. It's like, you can't give if you don't have,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
And your
with
understanding is a more godly understanding. You don't have like a worldly understanding, which is really, really amazing. But I'm feeling your
well, it's
understanding.
both. It's everything. You have to be as knowledgeable as you can.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? To succeed. You know, I, a lot of times knowledge can scare people because they know,
Hmm.
right? They can't mess with you,
Right.
right? So
You
that can
think.
stop you from succeeding
Mhm.
too. Is
Mhm.
because you're a threat because
Mhm.
right? Um, but again, you know what I mean? You can play it however you want. Like, it was straight chess how I've gotten here. You know what I mean? I don't know how to play chess yet, but I know that I was making strategic moves before I even knew what I was doing,
Yeah.
and that I was already being led to the right characters.
Mm.
Like I said in my post, it was really rejections or redirections.
Mhm.
You got to look at it that way, though.
Mm.
If you were rejected and you're like, well, forget that person, they don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's just like,
Right.
that's not empowering at all.
Right.
So I could be mad at Hollywood because I didn't book a lot of jobs for 15 years. I could say it's the industry's fault. Is
Mhm.
it my fault? Well, I've stayed in class and, I know the feedback that I get, so then if you're doing everything you can do and getting the great feedback and nothing seems to be happening, that's the hardest part.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
at that point, it's really just keep going
One.
and stay patient, because that's when chance came in.
Yes, and Chance did amazing. We love you. I'm sure your fan base is growing, growing, growing. Um, I can't. I don't want to say the same thing, but you did an amazing job. Oh my
Thank
God!
you. I
Like,
really
I
appreciate
don't
it. Yeah.
know how understanding you can feel me saying that, but you really did an amazing job. It was so heartwarming. But your fan base is growing. I'm a fan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I can see you being Woman Crush Wednesday on so many people for the 2022. I'm so excited for you. Thank you for this
Thank you.
opportunity.
No
You really
problem. Thank
have
you.
inspired me. You said a lot of gems, a lot of things that touched me on a spiritual level. And so I really, really enjoyed this interview. It was very, very refreshing. For sure.
Thank you. It was a
Very
pleasure.
refreshing.
I think
So,
it's my second interview. I'm
oh,
working and I'm getting
yeah, and thank you for
there.
giving me the opportunity as well. I'm
Oh,
super
no
thankful.
problem.
I'm
No
growing.
problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
All
We in it
right,
together. That's
y'all.
right.
So, can you tell us where to find you on your Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook?
Oh, absolutely. I mostly use Instagram, so you can find me on Instagram at Xavier J Watson. I post every now and then, but you can send a message or whatever, or continue to send support, and let y'all know what's up.
Yeah, and he do respond, y'all. So don't treat
Yes,
him
I
like
do
how he
respond.
would, because he do
I
respond.
mean, if it's respectful, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? If you want
for
to know
sure.
something, you know.
All right, guys. Thank you. Tuning out.
All right, for sure.